Hi guys, welcome to News in 30 minutes, and today we'll be discussing the most pressing, important as well as interesting issues on the 4th of October 2023. As I keep telling, this initiative is only to help you in current affairs. It should act as a facilitator and not a substitute for reading newspapers. So please make sure that you continue reading the newspapers along with this initiative. However, thank you for the support. Keep making sure that you subscribe to this program and share it with as many users as possible. So now let us start with the issues of the day. The first issue that is making news today is the Nobel Prize for Physics. Basically, this prize has gone to 3 people and their work in the field of electrons within the atom. So electrons within the atom move at a very fast pace, and to get a glimpse of these electrons is very difficult. So the contribution of these 3 trio is basically to give us the glimpse of the electrons. So the glimpse that we get of the electrons, or the finding a way to see electrons, happens in a very short durations of time, and that short duration is known as attosecond. Okay, so to give you a perspective of what this attosecond is 1 billionth of a nanosecond. It is just 1 billionth of a nanosecond. Now, to give you another perspective of what attosecond is, listen to this. Attosecond is a unit so short that there are as many attoseconds in 1 second as there have been seconds since the birth of universe 13 billion years ago. Now imagine how short that duration is. I repeat it again. An attosecond is a unit so short that there are as many attoseconds in 1 second as there have been seconds from the birth of universe 13 billion years ago. So this is the scale of attosecond. Alright, so the glimpse of the electrons that is available is in 1 attosecond, and this is the contribution of the Nobel Peace Prize winners of 2023. So there is an entire realm of attosecond physics. Okay, so what is this realm of attosecond physics? Basically, the job of attosecond physics is the ability to look at the minutest particles at the shortest time scales. Okay, the ability to look at minutest particles at shortest time scales. This is what is attosecond physics. Now, why is it useful? Is basically it is useful to study electrons. It is also used to study the mechanisms that are governed by electrons. So hence attosecond physics becomes very important. Now, the findings of this trio about the glimpse of finding the electrons, why is it useful? One, as you know, this finding is useful in understanding the secrets of the universe. That is the first and foremost thing. The second is it helps in, this is the most important aspect of this discovery, it helps in revolutionizing laser technology. So this is the most important application of this attosecond physics. It will revolutionize laser technology. So if it revolutionizes laser technology, obviously it will lead to better disease diagnosis. You're getting this? So these are the 3 uses of attosecond physics, and hence the Nobel Prize for Physics is awarded to this trio. So this is the contribution of the attosecond physics to the realm of humanity. Let us go to the next issue. The next issue is there has been 4 earthquakes that jolted Nepal in just 1 hour. And the tremors were also felt in North India. Now, in 2015, if you remember, there was a magnitude of earthquake in Nepal of the scale of around 7.2 in the Richter scale. correct? So this killed thousands of people in Nepal. So yesterday there were 4 different earthquakes of different magnitude. The magnitude ranged from 6 to different values near 6 in the Richter scale, and this is again a pertinent issue in Nepal. The reason why there are so many tremors in Nepal is, one, if you take Nepal, Nepal comes in a plate boundary. It comes exactly between the Indian plate as well as Eurasian plate. And because these two plates are converging, it is especially continent and continent convergence. And as you know, the continent and continent convergence are the most intense of convergence amongst other types, all other types. Because of this convergence, there are rocks that break, and these rocks that break will release energy, and that energy is released in the form of seismic waves. So this is the reason why Nepal as well as parts of North India receives tremors continuously, because they come along the plate boundary of Eurasian plate as well as Indian plate. So this is another issue that has happened today. The next issue is the World Bank has estimated that India's economy will grow at 6.3% in the financial year of 2024. Now, they had actually predicted the growth to be 7.2%, but they are moderating it down to 6.3%. And they say that the reason for moderating the growth of India, the GDP growth of India, is basically because of global headwinds. So global headwinds such as the global interest rates are high. When the global interest rates are high, the investment that happens in developing countries are relatively less. So that is one of the problems. So the next is the geopolitical tensions. As you know, the Russia-Ukraine war, the South China Sea, the Armenia-Azerbaijan issues. So all these issues also add up to the geopolitical, also add up to the economy of the developing countries. The third is the sluggish global demand. The demand is reducing, and these are the 3 basic reasons why World Bank has moderated the growth trajectory of India's GDP from 7.2 to 6.3. However, 6.3 itself is not bad. It is a good trajectory for India, which shows that India is on track to become the 3rd largest economy. And however, the World Bank has also brought out some facts on fiscal consolidation of India, which is very, very important for your mains perspective, for you to substantiate how Indian economy is doing. One such is the World Bank says that India has a very strong service sector, and it predicts that the service sector growth is going to go at an average of 7.4%. So that is the first thing. The second is regarding fiscal consolidation. Regarding fiscal consolidation, the World Bank predicts that the fiscal deficit will come down from 6.4 to 5.7% of GDP. This is one. It is 6.4 to not 5.7, it is 5.9% of GDP. This is the first one. The second, it tells that the public debt will stabilize at 83% of GDP. This is the second stat that it has given. The third is on the external sector. The current account deficit is expected to narrow to 1.4% of GDP. So these are some fiscal consolidation measures that the World Bank has stated. The fiscal deficit coming down from 6.4 to 5.9, public debt stabilizing at 83% of GDP, and the current account deficit narrowing to 1.4% of the GDP. So these are some of the strong measures that the Indian economy has, even in the face of the global headwinds faced by the entire world. However, one thing what World Bank also specifies is the low female labor force participation. It tells that the average level of female labor force participation for emerging market economies is somewhere near 50%, whereas in India, the female labor force participation is very low. This is somewhere in between, somewhere in 25%. So this is where we have to work upon to increase our labor force, which in turn will definitely increase the GDP growth of India. So this is regarding the World Bank's estimate of India's trajectory of GDP in the fiscal year of 2024. This is really important for the GS3 paper, where you can use these facts to state about the Indian economy. So this is about it. The next issue that is important is plastic in clouds. Now you find plastic is becoming omnipresent. That is, plastics are able to be, they are found almost everywhere on earth. They are found in the hydrosphere, they are found in the lithosphere. Now they are able to be found even in atmosphere. Okay. So what happened is, there were Japanese scientists who went to Mount Fuji and Mount Oyama. So they went to Mount Fuji and Mount Oyama, and they collected cloud water. And when they collected cloud water, they were able to find 9 varieties of microplastics. Microplastics are basically plastics that are lesser than 100 mm. Correct? So they were able to find microplastics of the range of 94 mm. So this included not only polycarbonate, it included polyethylene, it included polypropylene. So these were some varieties of microplastics that were found. Now, this is a very, very significant finding, because this has huge repercussions on weather conditions. The reason is, see, these microplastics can act as condensation nuclei. See, this condensation nuclei is nothing but salt particles that help in cloud formation and rainfall. Condensation nuclei are actually natural salt particles. Correct? Now, instead of natural salt particles, we are adding microplastics. When these microplastics that are artificial are acting as condensation nuclei, they will have influence on two things. One, they will influence the cloud formation, as well as next they will influence precipitation. So basically, already because of climate change, precipitation, the cloud formation have become very uncertain and unpredictable. And on top of that, if we add upon this adding of artificial condensation nuclei into the atmosphere, this will again influence and make the variability of rainfall even more uncertain. So this is going to only add upon and compound the problems and consequences of climate change. So this is the problem. Now, what to do for this? The only rescue for this is to stop plastic pollution. Now, there is a stat according to UNEP. This stat tells that 430 million tons of plastic is produced every year. 430 million tons of plastic is produced every year. And out of this, 2/3 is going to end up as waste. This 2/3 that is ending up as waste will eventually land up either in land, rivers, oceans, and finally even within the ecosystem as well. And this plastic, which includes microplastic, is becoming a very significant pollutant in affecting the biosphere, as well as affecting the meteorology and climatology of the earth. So this is a very pertinent point. We should make sure that the plastic pollution is stopped. In India, we have banned the single-use plastics. However, it has not been very successful. The second is, we have brought out the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016 with its amendment in 2021, but its implementation is still not that effective. The third is we still have to strengthen our segregation of plastic waste at the source itself, and our recycling technologies needs to be upgraded, and we have to bring an innovative measure like Swachhata E-Seva campaign that we recently saw, the cleanliness drive. In the same manner, we have to bring some campaign to promote circular economy and to substitute plastic and its usage. So some innovative measures are needed in order to stop this problem of plastic pollution. So this is regarding plastics that are found even in the cloud water as well as in the cloud formation. So this is about this issue. The next issue is a very beautiful article written today. It is, the article reads, a blueprint to tackle 3 crises facing the blue planet. In this article, there is a quote given by the United Nations Secretary General, who says that we have been a poor custodians of our fragile earth. The Secretary General goes on to say that today the earth is facing a triple planetary crisis. And this triple planetary crisis is nothing but, one, the climate change disturbances. The second is the biodiversity loss, and the third is the increase in pollutants. So let me substantiate globally what is the impact of these 3 triple planetary crises and how it is adding up in order to destroy humanity. The first, to talk about climate change, 6th IPCC assessment has come out with a report that tells that by the year 2100, we are going to increase the global temperatures by 2.2 to 3.5 degrees centigrade. Okay. Now that is a huge breach of the standard mark that we are trying to limit our temperatures to about 1.5 to 2 degrees by 2100. 2.2 to 3.5 is huge, and that will have very high repercussions. The same 6th assessment report says by the year 2050, because of climate change and its consequences, the global GDP is going to reduce by 1.3 to 4.2%. The global GDP is going to reduce by 1.3 to 4.2%. Now this is the 6th IPCC report talking about the impact of climate change. Now if I have to talk about the biodiversity loss, we have the Center for International Forestry Research. The Center for International Forestry Research says the world will lose $6.3 trillion. It will lose $6.3 trillion worth of ecological services due to land degradation and forest deforestation. Okay, so this is what the Center for International Forestry Research says. We are going to lose $6.3 trillion because of land degradation and forest deforestation. So this is again huge with respect to biodiversity loss. And the last is pollution. According to an UN report, air pollution is becoming a global issue, and air pollution is a main contributor for global burden of diseases. It is the main contributor of global burden of diseases, and according to that UN report, 6 to 7 million premature deaths happen due to air pollution. Again, this is huge. Added to this air pollution is a new type of pollution that is increasing at an unprecedented level, and that is plastic pollution. We just spoke about plastic pollution in detail a few minutes back, so I assume that you have understood the global annually we have around 450 million tons of plastic produced, out of which 70% are going into waste. So these are the triple planetary crisis that Earth is undergoing. Now the climatic disruptions as well as the pollution as well as the biodiversity loss must have an integrated approach, because each one will feed on to another and will obviously have a positive feedback in accentuating the disruptions that we are seeing on Earth today. So we need to have an integrated approach to tackle all the three together if we have to save not only the Earth but also humanity. So these are the few issues that were important on the 4th of October. I hope it helped. I hope news in 30 minutes is impacting your preparation and is creating a sense of sanity in your current affairs for your preparation of UPSC exams. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much. Please like, share and subscribe so that I am also incentivized to do it daily. Thank you so much.